Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome. We are the Owatonna School Board. It is Tuesday, it's the 26th of May, 5:30 p.m. It's 5:31. I'm calling this meeting to order. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start off, Andrea will give us a quick update on our attendance.
Looks like we're all here.
Excellent. And before we approve the agenda, there's one amendment that I need to make. And if you would, please, we will add, under action items, we'll add an item L. After gifts to the district, we'll add item L, and this would be a letter of understanding regarding the READ Act. So with that amendment, I'll make the motion that we approve the agenda as presented with the amendment.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor with an aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. I'll turn things over to Dr. Ciampa for our mission moment.
All right, so our mission moment. This entire year, our theme has been to really celebrate and recognize our partnerships throughout the district that truly benefit our students on so many levels. But tonight, we get to recognize those that are truly the heartbeat of our school district and are behind all of those partnerships happening. So I wanted to take time to recognize our cabinet tonight. And so we are going to recognize each of you, talk about what your role is a little bit, and then ask you to come up and maybe share highlight of the year or something. So I know your favorite moment. Here we go. So if we look up at our screen there, we have Chris Pica, who serves as our Director of Human Services and has worked tirelessly in this environment lately when it's more difficult than ever to recruit, support, and retain outstanding educators and support staff. So we thank Chris for all of her work. Next, we have Director Sullivan. Our Director of Teaching and Learning has championed high-quality instruction and meaningful learning opportunities that help every student, each and every student, reach their fullest potential. And as all of you know, this last 2 years has been a bit of a challenge with the demands of the READ Act and now looking at what do those interventions look like, but always looking at how do we best support our students. And next we have Director Olson, who this may be close to being one of his last meetings, but certainly has been instrumental in the work with all of our facilities across the district. And infrastructure and security has been maybe a little bit more of a lift this past year, but we thank you for your efforts and all of your work behind that as well. Director Stotts, you'll hear from tonight as well, is our Director of Finance and Operations and has just demonstrated amazing stewardship of our district finances and is always not only looking at our finances, but also what is in the best interest of our students. So we thank him for his work. And we also have Director McDermott Johnson, our Director of Community Ed, who just now received a survey and really looking at how do we best support our community and really how do we stretch beyond what we typically think of as pre-K-12 and meet the needs of our entire community at large. So we thank Director McDermott Johnson for her work. And finally, we have Director Mensink, who is our Director of Special Services and is rounding out almost her first year and has just been a passionate advocate for our students, ensuring that every learner receives the support, care, and opportunities that they need to succeed. So together, they model integrity, professionalism, and what we stand for here in Owatonna Public Schools. So thank you for your service. One highlight. And if your hashtag Owatonna Public Schools is wearing off on your laptop like mine is, you have a brand new one. All right.
So I will say one of my goals was assisting the superintendent disseminating information related to the operating levy back in November. I'm happy to announce that that goal is 100% complete, but it was not successful. And the reason I bring that up is, despite the fact that, yeah, we wished it would have passed and life could have went on, it really gave me an opportunity to build a relationship with Tammy through that process and through the subsequent budget reductions. It also gave us the opportunity to look at the budget and really dig into the budget, where sometimes when you come into a new district, it takes time to learn the nuances of this particular district and how they do things and so forth. We were forced to jump in with both feet. And so from that standpoint, it was a real beneficial process, even though the outcome isn't what we desired. So, thank you for the past year. It's been great.
Thank you.
All running.
You want us all to say something?
Yeah.
I would say, and this is probably a repeat, that the highlight would have to be working with the teacher apprentices. And this year, we had 6 that started in cohort 1, and all 6 graduated on May 9th. So it was really nice. Tammy and I were able to go to the pinning ceremony. We didn't stay for the long graduation. And all 6 of them have positions, not necessarily in our district, but they all have special ed teaching positions. And now we have 2 in cohort 2, and we'll have another 2 starting in cohort 3. And we've also expanded the types of teacher licensures for apprenticeships, not just in special ed. We're working right now with a steering committee on a triple license, EL, elementary, and special ed. So the licensure will come in handy for a lot of individuals, just because a lot of times with those, you have gen ed, you usually have some EL and you have special ed in your classroom, so it'll be a very good license. And to obtain 3 certifications would be expensive, but now the tuition, that would be mine. And working with this team.
Thanks, Chris.
A highlight of my year has been to join this team. I've been in the district since 2006, and so to be part of the leadership team is an honor. And working with all of these people. Same thing with Chris, the apprentice program. Special services touches all the different departments, and so I could speak to each one of these people and talk about the wonderful work that we do together. The apprentice program was a highlight. Also working with the teaching and learning department and working on the MTSS structures, the social emotional structures with the school social workers and the counselors was a big highlight. And we're excited to continue that work next year in year 2 of the demonstration grant. So those are 2 of the highlights that I have with me. How about the radio show? That was a highlight too. It's fun talking on the radio, I found out. That was a little bit stressful the first time, but now I'm in the groove and only get to do that 2 times a year, but yeah, so it's been fun. Okay. I have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I can imagine. So one of my goals this year, and actually I made Tammy's goal. My name was actually mentioned in her goal. I thought, wasn't that nice? But anyway, we worked very well together with our safety and security. Getting the I Love You Guys on board in association with our Alice training and things like that, just to make sure that our kids and our staff are safe. Not only are we working on the physical safety of people, but we're also working on the safety around the whole district. With OSHA now coming in and looking at schools, which they haven't really done much in the past with when it comes to students, they've always looked at the adult side of it. They're looking at things now in school districts on where kids are at as well. So we had to make sure that we are ready, and we worked with our consultant quite a bit with IEA to make sure we had mock OSHA walkthroughs, and if we saw things in there that were not up to snuff or OSHA may end up flagging for us to fix, we went and got those fixed ahead of time. So with me not coming back next year, I feel very happy that our safety, physical safety of the structures and the facilities are up to snuff, and they're actually looking really good. All of our, you guys may not know this, are all up to date as well. So I feel really good about not just the physical safety of people, but the physical safety of our buildings as well. So that was one of the big highlights. And then obviously the other highlight is that this will be my last meeting coming to the board meeting. So after 33 years, I'm very happy with the career that I've had in Owatonna, and I thank you guys for allowing me to do my job. So thanks.
Well, thank you for the opportunity and the recognition this evening. Very nice. Hoping that community education is really about a community legacy of inventing and reinventing itself. And I hope as we watched Owatonna grow and develop over the years that we're seeing the part of our district that reaches out to learners of all ages, that we have been a good steward of the learning needs of our community. You know, we have internal customers, the team that we work with here, both administratively as well as our day-to-day folks in the classrooms, are really living examples of what it takes to be passionate about serving the learning needs of our community. And we've worked so hard to be part of the learning package that we offer Owatonna schools. That brings great joy to our department. And I think one of the real joys this year has been, as much as I detest the goal setting process, it has really given us an opportunity this year for all staff to find meaningful work within the mission of the district, and giving us an opportunity to really drill down to what we want. And if you've been reading our monthly check-ins with you, I hope you recognize that particular adult basic ed team this year has done amazing work. And I just got an update before I came here. That they're even more successful than it's in the report packet. So we're pretty proud of that work. So with that, I think we'll let Ms. Julie close out our evening.
I actually didn't think it was on. There we go. I feel like I told Mark before the meeting started, I said, you're not going to call me up front tonight. And he said, nope, not tonight. And here we are. And so I know you heard from me a couple of weeks ago when we were here for the meeting, but I will just say, I think I'm the longest standing member of the cabinet here as far as being in Owatonna. This is my 35th year in education, my 34th year in Owatonna. And I've been everywhere from started teaching at the junior high and then went to the high school and then became an assistant principal and then over to Wilson Elementary and then principal at the middle school. And stepping into this role was probably my biggest challenge. Just because it was so different, not with kids every day, not leading, a big staff. And it took me a little bit to grow into this. And I don't know, in hindsight, with everything that was coming on our plate, if I would have said, yes, sign me up for that. But it's actually been a really good process. The READ Act was great, and we're heading into phase 2 next year. And I have just a fantastic team. I have great colleagues that I can go to for a variety of questions, and just my team with Wendy and Matt and Kelly and Kenneth, who's just brilliant with everything. And if I need any data, I can just go there and get it. So I've really enjoyed it. I think I bleed blue because Owatonna is, and in a couple of years, we're going to retire and not live in this community. And that already at moments kind of strikes me. This is where we've spent so much time and raised our kids, and all 3 of them had such a great experience in the school system. So I love what I do. I like going to work every day, and I look forward to what's coming the next couple of years before I'm officially done and join Bob in retirement. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We appreciate all that you do.
Board members, any last comments, anything to share? It is somewhat awe-inspiring to see the amount of experience, the wealth of experience that was represented by the 6 people standing up here. And I think in a large part, a very strong reason why Owatonna becomes a destination district, because of leadership like the 6 of you and what you provide. So thank you very much. On behalf of the board, thank you. We will move on to item 5. Is there anything for public forum tonight? No cards for public forum. Okay. Item 6, Director Stotts is here, and he will make his way up. I'll turn things back over to Dr. Ciampa for a quick overview on what we'll talk about with regard to the amended budget.
Yes, so we have both Sarah and Mark presenting tonight on our amended budget. And if you just remember a little bit, this is coming to us a little bit late because of the timing of the operating referendum and then the work to get all of the contracts negotiated and in place, so that this was not a constant on your agenda and just always changing as all of those contracts were settled individually. So with that.
All right, so my role here is I'm going to introduce Sarah, and many of you remember Sarah back when she was here previously. She goes now by Sarah Brandt. She was married last year, so Sarah is back, had a really good meeting with the Finance Committee on Friday, and I'm going to let her present the amended budget for this year. So you'll be seeing the amended budget for the current year, 25-26 tonight. And then next month, we'll have the budget for the 26-27 school year that we'll present to the board. And we've got another Finance Committee meeting on the books, and we should be set. But I'm going to turn it over to Sarah. She's done a ton of work on this, and I'm really pleased to have her back in the district.
Yeah, and I'm happy to be back. So as Mark mentioned, we did meet with the Finance Committee last Friday, and we went through the full budget book in detail. So tonight, I'm just going to have you focus on page 5, which is the summary of all of the funds that we're presenting. And we'll focus mainly on the general fund, because that's the primary source of the district's funding and operations. For the general fund amended budget, we're presenting revenues of $84.2 million. This does include a pretty sizable increase in our special education state aid funding of approximately $3 million. Additionally, there's some increase in our general education aid, primarily in the compensatory revenue category. In the preliminary budget, the compensatory revenue was included before the state legislature set that hold harmless amount. So we're including an increase in revenue for that change as well. Expenditures for the overall general fund are budgeted at $85.7 million. This does include the full contract settlement package that Tammy referenced. All contracts have been settled as of May 11th. So all of those changes are incorporated in this budget. There was a placeholder in the preliminary budget, and we landed fairly close to that overall expenditure contract settlement. But we've also included a few other changes just to reflect some actual LTFM projects and some additional increases in expenses. Overall, that brings us to a net decrease in our general fund balance of about $1.5 million to end the year at a projected $13.6 million fund balance. We often focus on the unassigned fund balance as a percent of expenses, and there we're landing at 11.37%. This is a slight increase from where we had the preliminary budget at 9.83%, and pretty close to what Mark talked about with the school board in his November projection. Overall, very healthy. When we look at the food service fund and the community service fund, those are our two programming funds that are meant to be self-sustaining. So we set rates to sustain the expenses that those funds incur. Although they have some deficit spends, they still overall at the end of the year are projected to have a healthy fund balance. Our building construction fund incorporates the high school and district office remodel, as well as a few other projects. Here we have a few adjustments just to recognize interest revenue we've seen to date and limit our expenses to the expenses we actually incurred on those projects. Our debt service fund is used to make payments on the bonds that the district has issued, and there's no significant changes there. Our trust fund is set up for our museum programming, and you can see it's a very small budget, so not a lot to talk about there. Health insurance, internal service fund. Here we do have a decrease anticipated in our fund balance, and this will play into the health insurance premium rate increases we're presenting for next year, but still overall a positive fund balance and able to support itself. And then likewise, our dental internal service fund is for the district's self-insured dental insurance, and there we're projecting about a break-even fund balance. Right. So that is the overall amended budget summary. I'm happy to answer any questions or go into more detail if anything is on your mind.
Welcome back, Sarah.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
I'm very happy to be back. Yeah, it's good to see you.
I was feeling terrible that I missed it, and now you have a new last name, so that's why I missed it. Now I'm not feeling as bad. So glad you're here.
Board members, any questions? Good summary.
One thing I would mention, we're right on track with fund balance, and I know the board members on the finance committee will give a report later this evening, but we're also right on track with enrollments at this point, and I think that's really important as we move forward into the next year. So thank you very much.
Good, thank you. Item 7 tonight would be just the general information, and specifically it would be with regard to the enrollment report. Do board members have any questions for Dr. Champa with regard to the enrollment report that was part of your packet? Okay, hearing none, we will move on. Item 8 tonight, no action required by us, board forum. Jolene, if you don't mind, we'll start over on your side.
Nothing. Quiet on this end.
Yeah, just the opportunity. The Pops concert was very entertaining and awesome to see, inspiring again. I don't know if you want us to comment.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and if you wouldn't mind, if there's committee report, you want to bring that up at some
Yeah, I think I'll just comment and I'll let Ron and others chime in. I was remote, so they were a little more hands-on. But yeah, we had a good meeting, went through that report in a fair amount of detail. I think we got all of our questions answered. They do a great job, and I heard Sarah's voice, so I was glad. I knew that voice. I was glad to see she was on the call. So yeah, more to come, but on track.
Yeah, I would just agree on the Pops concert. I thought it was good. And also the Memorial Day program, the concert band performed and the marching band was in the parade. And afterwards, I talked to Mr. Ginther, and he just said today was one of those days where it just, everything, and I mean, maybe Lowell, you could say it too, it seemed like you guys sounded really good. And so it was just good to see the school district contributing to that, event and just the patriotism in the community as well. So, and then, yeah, I would agree with the finance committee. We had a very good meeting, and we were able to kind of go through everything, and yeah, it seems like we're in a good place.
I don't have anything.
I have nothing for board forum tonight either. Andrea?
Yeah, I also was at the Pops concert. It was fantastic, and I went to the music awards program prior to that, which was really great to see all those students recognized, and both for their contributions here in town and also even at the state choir level. So that was very cool. And then tomorrow I'm headed to BizTown to help with the middle school, the 6th grade trip for BizTown. So that'll be good.
Maybe I'll just add for the Finance Committee meeting, we had talked about the legislative change or decision and the upcoming deficit of almost
Compensatory?
yes, 700,000 coming in the future. Is that for the next school year?
It is, yes.
Yeah. So we did touch on that also.
That's a good point.
That we'll have to prepare for that. So that was it.
We had the last OHS advisory meeting where students discussed the vaping epidemic in our schools, potential solutions to that, some of the causes that allow students to, get into that addiction. We discussed cell phones, Chromebooks, the use of Chromebooks, how they are both how they both help and hurt education among our students. And then we also discussed, a large portion of our discussion was about school engagement, how we can get school spirit up, how we can allow all of our students to feel supported, either at sporting events, extracurricular activities. It was a very, very productive discussion. We also presented some solutions on how students can stay in touch throughout the school year so that if they do come across an issue, they can let Lowell and Greta know right away so that it does not fall through the cracks. It was a very productive meeting. Lowell and I were also able to attend the agricultural, industrial / military signing day. We had a close friend of ours sign to the Navy, Dawson Levy. That was amazing. Just being able to support him, being able to support all of our students, regardless of the career path. they go into. Also, big shout out to Mr. Coleman and Miss Cook for putting that together. But yeah, that's all I had. This is my last meeting. I just wanted to share some thank yous. Thank you, Mr. Sebring. Thank you, all board members, for giving me an incredible 2 years, for allowing me to grow, pushing me, and also just giving me a formative experience that will guide the rest of my life journey. I will not forget my time on the school board. This has been an incredible journey, and I'm really optimistic as to what Lowell and Greta can achieve in their tenure, as well as the future of this role.
First, I want to say thank you, IU. I know that we have a relationship that is outside of just the school board. We have known each other for a while, and I'm sure we will be good friends for a long time. But I just want to thank you for kind of showing me the ropes, even opening me up to this position. This was, like you said, a great opportunity, and I think there are lots of events and ideas that you have put into the works, and I hope that we will be able to accomplish some of those. Like Ayub said, we did have our last advisory meeting of the year. So wrapping that up, I think we had a very productive year of advisory meetings, and I think especially towards the end of the year, you could really see the kids start to get greater engagement with us and really open up to us. But besides that, as you guys can all imagine, the schools are ready for school to be over. They're ready for summer. But also, if you didn't see, Owatonna has been running the Big Nine recently. I think we had 4 Big Nine championships last week. Boys and girls lacrosse, baseball and girls golf, all won within a span of like 5 days. So Owatonna's doing well.
Excellent. Gentlemen, thank you. Ayub, before we move too terribly further along, I would open up the panel, the board, to offer any passing or closing thoughts, comments with regard to the time that you've spent with us.
Well, Ayub, I really enjoyed getting to know you these last years. I don't know if you still aspire to a political or a career in the law, but I'm particularly interested in that. So just know we'll be waiting and watching, and very best wishes to you.
I would maybe just add to kind of like what Lowell said, just appreciate I would say the professionalism or maybe the standard that you bring or have brought to the position. And, and I think they're setting the bar high for people coming behind you, so.
Yes, along similar lines, we've had student school board reps now for a number of years, and I'm always convinced that the rep that is our senior is the most productive person I've ever met. And you set the bar once again pretty high. So Lowell, you're going to have to work.
Well, and as mentioned before, I just appreciate watching you lead, and am very excited to watch your journey as you move forward as well.
The level of your questions from week to week has really made me think more critically about what we're doing and what we should be thinking about and taking action on, and I greatly appreciate your questions.
I've always been impressed when you, by your presentation, the things that you say, the questions you ask, the way you present yourself. So well done.
I need you to know we are a better board because of you, and we are a better community because of you. So good luck. It's going to be fun to see where you land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ayub, you are just you're mature beyond your years. You are patient. You're a critical thinker. Very often in life, people are waiting for a person to stop talking so they can begin to interject what they have to say. And you're waiting for them to finish speaking because you want to be able to process what they've said and to give a careful and deliberate response to it. And I think that that's just a spectacular attribute that you'll take with you the rest of your life. We wish you the very best.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And you can stay the rest of the meeting.
Not planning.
Okay, good. So that covers board forum. We did take care of committee reports. Anybody have any comments or questions with regard to the work session report? It was presented in your packet? No. I'll move on to item B, which would be the administrative report. I'll turn things over to Dr. Champa.
Yes, so I know that you've had time to read the admin report, but I just wanted to point out, Director Hedlund had just mentioned about the compensatory. So we had made comments along the way as we were doing budget adjustments, is we feel good for the upcoming couple of years, as long as the legislation doesn't do anything to change that. And unfortunately, compensatory for us was adjusted about $700,000. And just to give a little context to that, that is because of what we used to call free and reduced meals applications. And so that dollar amount came in due to applications and also direct certifications for Medicaid, that type of thing. And our state is going through a process since we no longer have those applications. And we had expected or maybe hoped for a hold harmless, that we'd receive the same level of funding as we had last year, and that wasn't the case. We have 40% of it. So we now are moving forward in a very deliberate way to address some dollars there as well. But I also want to mention, you said that everyone's ready to be done with the year, but we have so much left to do. If you look at the calendars and the schedules and the things that you were mentioning being a part of, between all of the athletic activities, the final concerts, it's a busy time. So if anyone's ever looking for something to do, our students can provide a level of entertainment and performances unparalleled to any other. So finish strong.
Anything with regard to the cadence of
Yes, and
accountability?
so just mentioning at your upcoming work session, you're looking at your own board evaluation, specifically the area of vision. And as you think about how do you ensure that the strategic plan is alive and well, this is what that is intended to do. So each of our, even hearing that it's maybe not the favorite activity, each cabinet member sets those SMART goals and then reflects on a monthly basis. And so you see collectively where we are on those 4 strategic directions.
Excellent. Board members, any questions for Dr. Champa? Okay, hearing none. We will move on. Item 9 tonight would be the consent agenda. We will need board action. We're going to approve the minutes from April 27 and May 11, disbursement and personnel reports. Does anybody have anything or any reason to pull anything out?
I would just like to make a quick comment, just in light of the notes and messages that we received this week regarding the personnel report. And we discussed briefly, and just understanding that we approve these reports quite often. This was the first time in my 3.5 years on the board that we received comments and concerns, but feeling maybe comfortable, confident where our superintendent has dealt with the situation up to this point and felt a little chaotic at first, but thank you for working through that. And I just wanted to acknowledge that this happened in the last week. So thank you.
Thanks.
With that, we will entertain a motion to approve.
I move that the board approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion with regard to this? Okay, hearing none. Andrea, if you would, please.
Sure. Jolene? Aye. Lori?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Elizabeth?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. 7 pass.
Motion carries. Very good. Thank you. Item 10 tonight would be a couple of items that do require board action. First of which is A, the 2025-2026 amended budget. We just heard a comprehensive summary of that. Finance Committee has been able to dig into this as well. We'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move that the board approve the 2025-2026 amended budget as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any discussions or any other further questions as it relates to this? Okay, hearing none. All in favor with an aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Item B tonight, I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Champa. This is called Resolution to Decommit Funds, and I know that Dr. Champa and Director Stotts will both be able to walk us through
No, go
this.
for it.
Okay, so if you'll recall, as a result of the failed referendum, we went through the budget reduction process, and one of the items on the budget reductions is to move committed funds, so the board had committed through action numerous years ago, almost $300,000 towards the Career Pathways program. What we're proposing in this resolution is we eliminate those committed funds. We're still going to continue with the Career Pathways program. We're just going to fund it out of the normal general fund or the unassigned fund balance. So really no change in programming or anything like that. I'd like to call this a bookkeeping resolution more than anything.
Board members, any questions?
Well, we had a good discussion at our finance committee meeting too of just about how, these funds were set aside to get the program started, to get it going.
Right.
And now that it's functioning and doing what we intended, now it's best, we're still going to continue to do that. We're just going to move these funds into the general fund.
Good. Anybody else? Given that this is a finance issue, would one of the members of the finance committee please introduce the motion?
I move that the board approve the resolution to decommit funds as presented.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second again. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Andrea, if you would, please.
Sure. Jolene? Aye. Lori?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
And Elizabeth? And I am an aye.
Very good. Motion carries. Item C tonight would be that we do in fact have a new student school board representative. I'll turn things over to Dr. Champa.
All right, so we have been talking about the success of our senior representative, and it's also the time of the year where we get to talk to those who are interested in moving into this role. And we could not have been more impressed with the candidates that came forward. And so I'd like to call up Greta Veldman. And Greta you can say it so well. You talked about what you would strive for our student body and what you hope for. And if you can just share that with the board, I know they'd love to hear that.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Greta Veldman. I am so excited to be here and for this upcoming year. One thing that I talked about and I've kind of had the idea of as I'm moving into this new role is the idea of equity and inclusion within our schools. And one thing I talked about during the interview and just have kind of had in the back of my mind is just finding ways to be able to make sure that everyone in the community, specifically in our schools and all the students, feel comfortable where they are with the people they're around, and just feel like they're in the right place and don't have any discomfort where they are when they're at school and in their activities and stuff. And so I just believe that that's an important thing that I'm hoping that we can find a way to incorporate even more than what is right now. So, yeah. But thank you all. I'm so excited.
Good. Board members, any questions?
Ms. Veldman, this is not the first time you have presented or discussed things with the board.
No.
It was a short, how many years ago did you and two of your classmates tell the adults in the room to get rid of cell phones?
It was 3 or 4 years ago, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Not my first time being here.
No, it's not. Not your first rodeo. Very excited to have you. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Greta, welcome.
Thank
Glad
you.
to have you a part of it.
Well, I'm going to say one more thing. As we were looking for candidates for this new position, I sent out an email to potential sophomores who would fit this position. And when looking at people who I should send this to, I talked to numerous teachers, students, my own knowledge. And I just wanted to let you know that your name came up probably more than anyone else's. So I'm sure you're fit for the role, and your peers and your teachers think so as well.
Thank you so much.
That was perfect. And yes, we're just so excited to have you join. We're very sad, obviously, to lose Ayub, but excited to have you join. And also a shout out and thank you to your family for their support in allowing you to do this work as well.
Well, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Greta, thanks.
Thank you.
Would one of you be kind enough to introduce this motion for us?
I move that Greta Veldman be appointed as a student school board representative.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor with an aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Item D would be the 2025-2026 school calendar. I'll ask Dr. Champa to give us the quick overview.
So this is your school calendar, only it is what it currently looks like after we have addressed the number of days. So we had 2 non-school days and we had 2 late starts. And so that is not up in front of you, but that is what is attached here.
In a way, it was a part of the board packet as well.
Yes. Any questions?
Yeah, any questions?
All right.
Board members, anybody have that queued up? Could you introduce that motion?
I move that the board approve the final 2025-2026 school calendar as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Item E tonight would be policy revisions. Folks, there were 2 in particular, and one of which was a complete rewrite, one of which was brand new. So before we dig into it, policy committee, it's very interesting, and I'm wondering if you can just give us a quick bird's eye view of the first one, which would be equity, and talk about how you landed with this new and almost completely rewritten policy.
Well, I think just my impressions of the discussion, we felt that what we had from an equity perspective, the policy was narrow and it didn't reflect necessarily everything that the district, especially as part of our strategic goals, we wanted it to reflect that better. So we, rather than trying to just amend what existed, we went and redid it completely. And I think I think we all agreed as we walked out from that discussion that it was a much better and more inclusive kind of holistic version of an equity policy. So I think we were all very happy with it when we were done.
I think the other comment is just that, the directors and so on who are part of that committee also helped us by finding other examples of other districts and sort of how they're approaching this topic, and that gave us a good kind of template and starting point. So we weren't completely writing it, beginning to end, but nonetheless kind of staying in norms and.
Thank you. And then the second one has to do with AI. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yep. It's just ever changing, right? We make decisions today and then there's going to be new information tomorrow. And so Mike Helverson came in and did a really nice job of talking about this is how it's used right now within our schools as a tool. These are the different programs that are approved by the school to use as help with education, not a replacement for teaching and education. And so it was very informative and very, very interesting. And I anticipate this is a policy that we will have to review sooner rather than later and more often than other ones, just because it changes every moment.
Thanks. Let's do this then. Members of the policy committee, would one of you please introduce the motion for this?
I move that the board approve policy 110 and 625 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Andrea, if you would. No, we don't need to do that. All in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item F tonight would be our participation in the Minnesota State High School League membership. Dr. Champa, a quick overview if you would.
Yes, this is your annual review of the Minnesota State High School League and hearing at how we have been doing as Owatonna schools in the Big Nine. This allows us to continue to participate at that level. And so this is the official approval by the board to continue that.
Here we go. Would one of you please introduce this motion?
I move that the board approve the 2026-2027 resolution for membership in the Minnesota State High School League.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I will just comment that being that I did vote no on this last year, just strictly on the principle, not that I have any reason to not want our children to participate in any of these, because I really do, but just on the principle of last year as it was discussed with the transgender athletes participating in the sport of the gender of their choice. And so being that nothing has changed federally, state laws, there's definitely a conflict there. The waters are still very muddy with regard to that. So I'm just not going to change my vote at this point this year, basically for the same reasons as last year.
Fair enough. Any other comments or discussion?
I did notice one thing in there too, that they're going to change in 27-28 how online students participate in sports. So I didn't know if that would affect our online program or not. It's just a comment that I noted that was a new recognition.
I know there's a task force right now reviewing and having those conversations.
Thanks. Okay, with that, Andrea, if you would please.
Sure. Jolene? Aye. Lori?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Elizabeth?
Nay.
And I am an aye.
Motion carries. Very good. Thank you. Item G tonight would be identified official with authority to authorize user access to MDE secure websites. Dr. Champa.
All right, so annually, the board identifies an official with authority, which is the acronym of Iowa, and what that allows, if you approve the superintendent to do that work, it allows me to approve, whether it's Director Sullivan or Director McDermott Johnson, so that they can go in and do the reports and necessary paperwork. And so it's one person providing those permissions that you provide for me to do. So
And
that's what
historically,
that
we've
is.
always had it be the
Yes.
superintendent. Yes. Good. Would one of you please introduce this motion for us?
I move that the board authorize Superintendent Tamara Champa to act as the identified official with authority for Owatonna Public School District 761.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Item 8H tonight would be insurance renewal.
So you heard earlier about our self-insured plan, but tonight we are asking for approval of an increase of 9%. And so that attachment that you have in the packet looks at our self-insurance for medical, which is that 9%, and dental coverage. And then there's no increase to the rates of the dental, life insurance, or long-term disability through Madison National Life. Questions?
Maybe just one or two. Can you, I know historically we've been fairly small in our increases, and I've lost track over the years. Can you tell us how this compares historically where we've been, and then also with maybe our peer group or other self-insured programs and increases that they're seeing? I don't know if we had a tough year or a typical year.
They all seem tough lately,
I
but
know.
I have experienced a rate increase of 50%. And so, Director Stotts?
So I've been working with self-insured programs for, 20 plus years, probably 25 years. And they do go in cycles. You know, you'll have 2 or 3 difficult years, you'll have 2 or 3 really good years. We're self-insured, so you know, in a good year when claims come in low and they're lower than premiums, if you're in a fully insured plan, it goes straight to the insurance company. You realize none of that savings. If you have a bad year where claims exceed premiums, that's where the insurance companies take their risks. So we have had 2 I would call them difficult years, last year and this year, where claims have exceeded premiums. So we showed you in the amended budget, we expect the fund balance in that self-insured fund to drop a little bit. I'm hoping, you know, reinsurance rates, which protect us, because if there's claims over a certain amount, then reinsurance kicks in. Those are going up, but they go up pretty steady. The thing about it is we've been able to avoid double-digit increases. The increase last year was 9%. This year was 9%. We're hoping it kind of flattens out now that we move into that cycle of having a couple positive years. So,
Remind me, I think we have a consultant, don't we, that helps us
Yeah.
kind of actuarially sort out where do we need to land?
Casper, if you are familiar with Aaron, is our major consultant. Yep.
And the number that we are looking at tonight relative to what you had sketched out for the upcoming budget fits?
Pretty much right on.
Okay.
Yep.
And I think just finally, overall, I mean, I remember this decision years ago, maybe 10 or more. It's still, I think, a good decision.
I think it's performing well. You know, you're going to hear a lot about a statewide insurance proposal that's going to probably be on the legislative docket next year. Sounds good in theory, spread the risk, but there are certain provisions of that proposal that would have a negative impact on school district finances. So I think we have to be real careful with that one.
Good. Any further questions? Andrew, do you have this one?
I move that the board accept the self-insured health insurance renewal with Blue Cross Blue Shield as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Item I tonight would be an extended trip request to Costa Rica and Panama. Dr. Champa.
Yes, and this is for 2027 and summer of 27 for our world languages, and it fits all the parameters and requirements for an extended trip. Any questions?
Do we just have more trips, extended trips now? Because it seems like we've had quite a few requests, or just.
Well, I think
we're
they
at
come
World
in, like
Learning?
a couple are 2 years out, and they're really trying to allow for some of that fundraising, so it feels like there's maybe more in a given year than there are.
Very good. Elizabeth, by chance, do you have this one queued up?
I move that the board approve the trip request to Costa Rica and Panama as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Again, any further discussion? All in favor with an aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item J tonight would be a resolution establishing dates for filing affidavits of candidacy. This, I'll ask Dr. Champa to give the bird's eye view of this, but this is important because the filing dates this year are earlier than historically.
I thought they were in August.
Got moved up.
They typically have been. Now, I don't know if you have some context to the change in the time, Sarah?
I don't know why it's earlier, but yeah, it is earlier because it used to go into August.
So a little concerned. The filing dates are July 14th through the 28th, and I don't need to remind you that we have 4 seats that are up in November.
Is it July 14th or June 14th?
July. Did I say June?
Oh, no, I thought it was longer, so it's only 2 weeks?
Yes.
June 14th to June 28th, okay, all right. Or July 14th to July 28th.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yep. I would say that historically, we have always had very, very good coverage from both the Owatonna People's Press and the Steele County Times, and really would request some help from our partners in the media to help the community understand this change and the earlier filing dates. We wouldn't want someone to be caught off guard with that. In any case, would one of you be kind enough to introduce this motion?
I move that the board approve the resolution establishing dates for filing affidavits of candidacy as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Andrea, if you would, please.
Sure. Jolene?
Aye.
Lori?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Elizabeth?
Aye.
And I am an aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item K tonight would be gifts to the district. Dr. Champa, anything?
So
to
you
add?
have a lengthy resolution of a number of gifts that have been provided, and just continue to be so appreciative of the number of gifts that come in each and every month. So a huge thank you to all of those donors.
A lot of dirt for the middle school in this.
Yes, there's a lot of,
Yes,
there's a lot of gardening going on.
Yeah. I would just add too, I know somebody that received a thank you email from you that followed up with me and just said they were appreciative of how professional and, just happy that they got a personal communication from the superintendent, so.
We don't ever want to assume these gifts are coming our way, and just really, it's a small effort of appreciation.
Board members, would one of you please introduce this motion?
I move that the board approve the resolution for acceptance of gifts as presented.
Aye. Second.
Really eager to approve this one.
We do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Andrew, if you would, please.
Sure. Jolene? Aye. Lori?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Elizabeth? And I am an aye also.
Motion carries. Lastly, item L tonight would be a letter of understanding, and this has to do with the READ Act. All of you received a component to that in your email. I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Champa for a quick explanation.
So as we've been talking about the READ Act moving forward, it's always a challenge to ensure that we have the timing set aside and that it is recognized in the agreements. And so this is addressing that. So any further questions?
It largely is addressing the compensation structure of how
Correct.
all of the staff is
Yes.
compensated for that training.
Does it include compensation for the paras?
This one does not.
This one is actually just for a couple of people. We had made an agreement with the OEA that in the first year of employment, we didn't think that you should have to be a first-year teacher and go to the READ Act on their own. So we had an agreement with the union, and so this is just a couple people, and then we have one person who's switching roles, and we really want her to go through the core training, which is what our elementary teachers did. Our paras, we did all during given PD time, and so we didn't pay any of that. So these two will be doing, 2 or 3 will be doing it kind of on their own with some live sessions along the way. So it was just an LOU to make sure that we were prepared for those situations.
Any further questions with regard to this? As much as I despise changes to the agenda, Chris Pico was very kind in taking a phone call from me today, and I did have a chance. Understood. And I did have a conversation with both Gail Trotz and Jeff Williams, both with the OEA, and I just wanted to hear everybody say, yep, we're good with this, and everyone said the same thing. So with that, would one of you happen to have this one up and ready to go? Oh.
Right?
I've got it.
Yeah, it's not typed
I've
up
got
as
it.
a draft.
I just move that the board accept the ISD 761 and Owatonna Education Association Letter of Understanding regarding the READ Act.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Folks, this was a good meeting. I will move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. A good. Thanks, folks. Good meeting.